And welcome to a Greater You show here on IntellectualRadio.com. And I'm your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gant. Again, we are an iHeart station. We are the station to feed your brain. And again, we'd like you to right now, since you're looking at me and listening to me here, hit the subscribe button there, and also hit the bell so you can be notified of several of the shows that we have, all of the shows that we have, Sunday through Saturday. We have shows in the mornings, afternoons, evenings, variety of shows from political shows to comedy shows to relationship shows, spiritual shows, health shows, educational shows, entertainment shows. So we have a lot of different shows throughout the week. So please hit that and hit the subscribe. So again, this is I'm your host, Dr. Anthony again here, and again on the station where we feed your brain in the Greater You Show. And before we get started, let me go ahead and promote someone. And if you'd like to get promoted on any of the shows that I have, you can contact me at fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com. And I'm going to promote Mr. Emmett Farmer this evening again. Are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and an independent insurance broker. He can be reached at 773-908-9425 or efarmer2, that's number 2, at ameritech.net. Again, Mr. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can help you as well. He is licensed in Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in other states also. If you are 65 and older, and if you will become 65 within the next 6 to 12 months, please contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about your available options regarding your Medicare opportunities. For more information, again, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer at 773-908-9425. That's 773-908-9425. Or efarmer2, EFARMER, the number 2, efarmer2, at ameritech.net. You will also get a free consultation by mentioning that you have heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer here on a Greater You show, here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station. And we would and he'll help you out by just mentioning that you heard it from here. So this is a Greater You show again, and this is a self-help show, and also a self-help book club, a self-help coaching session, all wrapped into one. So those of you all that may be new to me and new to IntellectualRadio.com, what this show is about is helping you become better or be better and actually do better. And we speak on different topics. In every series, we have a different topic that we speak on. And each session in that series, we speak on different parts of that topic. And all of the topics are related to a book that I have written on that topic. And this particular topic is how to overcome failure. And it's based on the book Failure Success. And if you'd like to purchase any of the books that I have, obviously you can go to fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com and get in contact with me. And I'll make sure when you purchase the book that I sign a copy of it and get it shipped out to you immediately. So we're talking about how to overcome failure. And that's not the most positive topic to talk about, right? Because people are going to like to talk about success, and we will do that too. However, when you say failure, a lot of times people don't want to hear anything like that. If you call somebody a failure, man, they think like, hey, man, why are you talking about me? Don't call me those bad, nasty words. So let me just kind of give you a synopsis. This is part 1 of this series, and we're coming from lesson 1. But let me start with this, and why I believe failure is success and failure makes success. And here's the reason why: because it was a time in my life years ago that I seemed like everything I touched turned to failure. I feel like I was failing here, I was failing there, I was failing in relationships, I was failing with finances, I was failing with, everything you can think of. It seemed like I was just failing at it to me. And obviously, when you fail at a few things, you start thinking something's wrong with you, what you're doing wrong. Maybe you can never succeed, and all these different things. Maybe you just had these grandiose ideas, and it just doesn't work. But it seemed like everything I touched. I mean, I was going through at the time. I mean, I'm going through some relationship issues in my marriage. I'm going through, like I say, financial issues, and almost losing houses and cars and boats and planes. Well, I have boats and planes, but almost losing everything else I had, and things just wasn't working out well for me. And if you'd have asked me at that time, how did I feel? What did I think about my life at that particular time? I would have told you I think I'm a failure, because it's like nothing I do is working the way I want it to work, so I must be a failure. Well, when you think about that word failure, it's so negative that nobody wants to fail. We even come up with new things to associate that no, failure is not an option and all these different things. And not that that's wrong, but we try to reframe failure so much because of the fact that nobody wants to touch it, right? It's like boo boo, right? Nobody, no, won't touch that, right? Because it's so bad. But what happened was I had some success in my life, even up to that point, and even at that point, but I didn't see it as success, all the things I had done up to that point, because I had to start looking at things differently in regards to failure. Because when you tell people you can make failure make success, they want to fight you on that. Failure is success. They want to fight you on those terms because failure, no, no, no. And here's why we think that way, because when you start off in school, especially in the United States school system, you start getting graded in about first grade, right? Second grade, you start getting graded, and you have five grades: A, B, C, D, or F. And nobody wants an F. You can't walk home and tell your mom and dad, guess what I got today? What? I got like five F's. And people going to start giving you high fives and celebrating you. That's not going to happen, right? Well, that's what happens because you go through that system for 12 years, and then you go to college, you got another 4 or 6 years hanging out with that. So failures have such a negative tone that we take the actual way we look at failure, we take that into life and think that life is the same way. And the truth of the matter, it isn't, because once you understand what failure is and what failure does, it'll revolutionize your whole life. You'll start succeeding more often than you have ever succeeded before in many areas of your life, all at the same time. However, you got to understand what failure is and how to overcome it and not be afraid of it, because a lot of times people are so afraid of failure, they don't try to do anything. They don't try to get married. They don't try to get in relationships. They don't try to open up a business. They don't try to get promoted on a job. They don't try to leave a bad relationship. They don't try to do anything because of the fact that they are so afraid of failure. But I understand why, because I was once one of those people that was so afraid of failure. Until I understood how important failure is and how exactly it is really success. Failure and success go hand in hand. Failure and success is like wet and water. You can't get wet, you can't get water and not get the wet that come along with it. If you say I got water and then get wet, no, that doesn't happen, because wet comes with water. Well, failure comes with success in everything. You want to be successful in something, failure is part of this process. However, you have to look at it and understand what failure is and what failure does for you in the process. So hopefully by the time we get through this session, obviously session one, and when we get through the rest of this series, you will have a different viewpoint and have a different revelation of what failure and how it actually goes hand in hand with success. See, failure is like oxygen is to life. You can't live without oxygen, right? See, no air, no life, no failure, no success. You want to be successful, failure just part of this scenario. And if you don't believe me, just go read some biographies of some people you think are quote unquote successful. Go look at some stories. Go to the internet and just listen to someone's beginnings or what they are. And very few people say, I started off successful, I'm successful now, I always been successful. They'll tell you their bumps in the road, their brick walls, their pitfalls. In other words, they'll tell you where their failure was, and where their failure was, they end up becoming successful because of where their failure was. So failure, it doesn't sound good, but it's like manure. You know what I'm saying? And if you know anything about grass or planting or gardening or anything, manure helps things grow, right? And failure, if you want to grow into a success, you're gonna need some doo-doo, some manure, right? Which is failure, right? To help you grow into a success. So we're gonna get a little bit further in that. And I know you may say, oh no, man, that sounds good. You're just trying to make me feel good and all those different things. And the truth of the matter is, that's not where I'm saying it. But once you understand again what failure is, then you'll know, and then know what success is, then you have an idea. So let's start off this way. In order to overcome a failure, let's find out what success is. Because a lot of times we don't even know what success is to us. So we really can't, we don't even know if we failed or not, or we may call ourselves a failure when we really aren't, because we don't even know what success is. For instance, someone may say, well, he or she is successful because they have a house over there, or they drive a car like that, or because they earn this much money, right? And we say that's success. So if the person, you say, well, I have a house over there, but then they changed the rules where your house had to be this big over there. Well, your house not that big over there. You got a 3-bedroom house, but you got to have a 5-bedroom house over there to make sure it's a success. And then you say you might have a 5-bedroom house, but they say you have to spend at least this much money on the house to be equated as a success. So then you didn't spend that much money on your house, so that means you're not a success. This is how some people look at it. So when you realize that because we look at success so materialistic that we think success is only the material things we have or don't have. If I don't have that, I'm not successful. If I do have this, I am successful. So what ends up happening, because people are so afraid of failure, they'll go out there and get a 7-year car note on a car they can't afford, but it will make them look successful. And people will see them driving and say, he or she must be successful. Look at the car they drive. Look at the house they live in. Look at the clothes they have on. And that doesn't mean that they're successful because of those things. So let's look at what success is, right? The word success actually comes from the word succeed. And succeed is broken down in a Latin variation of the word is S-U-C, suck, means after. Seed, C-E-E-D, means to go. So like if you see the word proceed, pro means forward, seed to go forward, right? Well, when you see success or succeed, it's to go after. See, in other words, when you go after something, you're pursuing something. See, success is in the pursuit. It's not in the thing that's being pursued. See, so we think that if I go and pursue a college degree, then in that process, I am succeeding because I am pursuing that thing. The thing itself is not really what makes me successful, because you can be successful without a college degree. You can be successful without an expensive car. You can be successful because you don't live in, at the top high rise or have the biggest house. Now, if you pursue the bigger house and in your pursuing, then you are succeeding. Two things you need to understand about the word failure and word success: they are both present tense verbs. So success is not the end result, though it's a present tense verb. So you are always, that's why it's derived from the word succeed. You are succeeding, so to speak, even though that's continuation verb, you are succeeding at the present when you pursue something that you want. So now we're looking at this as good now, because you can pursue some bad stuff too, but we're not looking at it that way because you're a good person, right? So you don't pursue bad things. So we're looking at this in a good way. So when you're pursuing something, you pursue a business. I want to open up a business, and you pursue doing that or going into business, or I'm pursuing to getting a license or certification. In the pursuit is where the success is made. Now, excuse me, in that process, you're going to meet something, and you're going to meet this thing called failure. Now, wait, people say, whoa, 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 you had me going for a minute. I can go with the go after, and I'm going after something and everything, and now you're putting this failure in there, and I don't like that. But I just share with you, failure and success go together like wet with water. You can't have success without having failure. Any person that tell you they had success without having failure probably did not earn it. They probably didn't get it. Someone say, I have $1,000,000. I succeeded. You say, well, how you succeed? They should tell you some failure they went through. And if they say, I didn't go through any failure, I didn't hit any brick walls, I didn't hit any pitfalls, I didn't get any setbacks. None of that happened in my life, right? So none of that happened in my life, but I got here. I'm telling you, they're probably lying to you. Somebody gave them the money. They didn't earn it. Somebody gave them the car. They didn't earn it. Somebody gave them the house. They didn't earn it. Nothing against that if someone gave it to you. But we don't want to be fooled thinking that this person is successful when they can't tell you any of the failure that they went through to get it, because failure and success go together like wet and water. And once you understand that, you won't be afraid of it, and you won't get bamboozled, you won't get hoodwinked, led astray by someone saying, I'm successful because I have this. But then they didn't tell you the route on how they got that, right? What they had to go through to get that. Because if that's the case, if everybody can get what they want without going through anything, do you know you would have had the car you wanted, the house you wanted, the husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend you wanted, you would have had the job you wanted, whatever it is, you would have had that years ago. If all you had to do was just say, I'm a success and I don't go through any failure, I get it. But you have to go through some things to get the things that you want in the pursuit of things that you want. So keep in mind that success or succeed is present tense. It's in the pursuit of the thing. Now you can pursue, some people say, well, I'm a millionaire. I'm trying to be a millionaire, and I haven't became a millionaire, so I'm a failure. Well, someone may say, well, I don't want to have $1 million. I think it's best to live off $30,000 a year, right? That's what they're pursuing. Some people want a big house. There's some people that want a little house, and they don't think it's good to have a big house. Some people want an expensive car. Some people think it's a good idea not to have a car. See, that's their success. So now you have to make success personal. You can't make success the rules of other people. And this is why we get so confused, because if we don't have this stuff, then we're not successful. If we don't have this popularity, then we're not successful. If we don't know the right people, then we're not successful. This is what we think in our mind, because success for most of us is so external that we don't even really know what it means to ourselves. This is why just give you a homework assignment, if you want to say, and just poll about 10 people that you know, and just ask them, hey, what is success? And I guarantee you 9 out of 10 of them would say, well, it's getting everything you want, having a lot of money, big house. It's going to be some outside external stuff, right? And I'm not trying to just lead you on to make you feel good about failure and success, but I'm going to show you how you can become more successful in your life, even if you don't want the big car, because you don't have to get the big car just because people say it's successful. You might get a little car and think that's your success. You might open up a smaller business. Just because you don't open up a business on the Fortune 500 list does not mean you're not successful. And this is where a lot of us get hurt, because we say, well, I have my coffee shop and I like my coffee shop. I have my dry cleaners. I have my whatever I have. I like this, what I have. I have my business out of my home. You are succeeding because that's what you have pursued. And when you understand it's in the pursuit, it's not in the thing, because we can all pursue different things. You can pursue $1,000, another person can pursue $2,000, but neither one of you all are failures, because you are in the pursuit of what you want, which is for you 1,000, and for the other person 2,000. So once you understand those things, then you put yourself in a better situation. So you must realize in this process, because you might think I'm trying to fool you, right? Man, you just saying all this stuff trying to make you feel good, trying to fool you, right? Well, I'm really not. So here's something for you. When you think about the word failure, failure is the same word we get in the English, in a Latin variation of the word. It's the same word we get called deceive. Deceive mean fool. Somebody said, man, they deceived me out of my money. They deceived me. They told me their name was Joe and their name was Bob. They deceived me. They fooled me, right? See, most of us don't lose success. We just get fooled out of success because of failure. We're so busy running from failure that we're allowing it to fool us from the success that we want to have. So since we're allowing it to fool us from the success that we want to have, we can't become successful. And now we think we are still a failure because we're running from failure and not using failure to help us become more successful. So failure, look at it this way. You can't have success until you get failure first. Now, let's look at that. I shared with you the word succeed actually means to go after, right? Let's look at this a little bit differently now. What do you think success go after? What do you think it goes after? It goes after failure. Failure must meet you first, and success is right behind it. So all these people that, oh man, it didn't go my way, I failed and everything. Do you understand that failure only introduces success to successful people? So when failure comes into your life, it's already validating and letting you know success is right behind me. It's coming right behind me. But this is when we give up. See, I failed. See, I didn't get the car this year. I didn't get the degree this semester. I didn't get the whatever, right? And we say all these different things, but success is right behind failure all of the time. All the time. Failure and success, I just shared with you, it's like the wet that comes along with the water. If you seen water out somewhere, you know wet there, right? They go wet, right? And if the water come anywhere near you, the wet gonna hit you too. When failure come anywhere near you, success is right in the midst. See, once I understood that back in the day, because I've been living by this philosophy for myself for for a little, for a few, pretty much most of my adult life, I should say, right? But I've been living by this philosophy for a long time, right? Because if people that know me for a long time know that I have areas in my history that I succeeded at some things, right? But once I changed my philosophy, that's why I succeeded more often, because even though I knew things were bad, things got bad for me. I lost this or this didn't happen. or the relationship didn't go this way, right? Even though those things might went bad, I knew success was right around the corner. I just need to stay around in the game and not let failure deceive me out of the success that I'm pursuing, right? I know that I'm going to get the success, but I can't run from the failure trying to get to the success I want, because failure is in front of success. F in failure means first, S in success means second. Success never come before failure, and failure don't come after success. It's the other way around. Failure always precedes success. So now, if you want to be more successful, you need to understand that. You need to understand that I can't be deceived by failure. You have to actually go look at things in your life to overcome failure. You need to realize that this is part of the scenario. This is part of it. I mean, I can't have one without the other. Failure and success are two sides to one coin. They're two sides to one bill. They're two sides to one check. You can have a coin and you can say, I got heads, right? But if you don't have anything on the back of the tails, that coin is not valid in the system of money, the economic system. You can have a bill and $100 bill. The front can be there, but the back is not there, or vice versa. And guess what? That bill is not valid. Can't spend it in an economy. You can have a check with your name on it, but if you don't sign it, guess what? It's not valid. Can't get the money, can't cash it. Why? Because you need both sides of them to actually fulfill the transaction that you're trying to fulfill. Well, same thing when it comes to failure and success. You need failure just like you need success for it to go together. Success is the icing on the cake. Failure is the cake. See, you don't get exciting over the ice. Now, when you look at a cake, wedding cake, birthday cake, whatever type of cake, we say, ooh, look so pretty, look so pretty, look how many levels is it? Ooh, look at it looks so pretty. And you know what you're saying looks so pretty? You call it the cake, but you're saying the icing look pretty. See, success does look pretty. Yeah, you do have the car, the house, the boat, the plane, whatever you have. You know, you do have the degree or the marriage or the relationship or the whatever you get, right? Those things do look pretty, but here's the reality. If I gave you a choice to eat you a plate of icing or a plate of cake without the icing, which one would you choose? You wouldn't say, well, give me all that icing. I want that. You say, give me that cake. I eat that cake without the icing. See, failure is the cake. Success just make it look pretty. That's all. See, so when you look at it, now you start looking at this a little bit differently, right? But see, we want to skip all this stuff to get to the success. We want to get all this pretty. So now we got all this icing on nothing. See, because if you look by the ice and say, I'm going to eat past that ice, and you say it's nothing but icing. This is how a lot of people fool us. Because most times, if you look at social media, you look at the internet, and you look at someone and say, I'm trying to help you become successful, they have to always sit on the car. They got to always show you a big old house. Now, nothing against a car, nothing against a big old house, but that's what they're showing. You want to be more successful? Look at this big old house I have. You want to be more successful? Look at this big old car, this fancy car. Now, we don't know you renting that car for this photo. We didn't get that part. We don't know that that's not really your house. You just staged it like it's your house, right? See, this is what happens. So we think that person got to be successful. And my house a little house. My house so little, I open up the front door, knock out the back window. See, I can't be a success, right? My house too little, right? My house don't look like that guy house on television. Look how long he got, like all that land. He got like 55 bedrooms. I got like 2, and we sharing those, right? Because my house is so small, right? Well, the fact is that maybe you pursued to. Now, if you didn't pursue to, then you might feel like a failure because, like, hey, I'm just put here. But if you pursue anything, and this is what I want you to get, if you pursue or when you pursue anything, you are succeeding. If you don't know that you are always in the process of succeeding, then you're going to get fooled by failure thinking that you're not a success. You don't get stuff, then become successful. You become successful, then you get stuff. If that's the way it goes. And see, since we have so many people that want to shortcut the experience, want to run from failure as often as they can, because they want a shortcut. So they want the stuff to make me look like I'm a success and not want the actual the work that's needed to become a success because they're not pursuing anything. They're pursuing, most people want to actually look successful or be successful. They want the car or the house to impress you and I. They don't want the car and the house to impress themselves. They want the car and the house so we can say, ooh, look at that. Again, there's nothing wrong with the car, the house, the clothing, or whatever it may be, right? There's nothing wrong with that. However, but why are you pursuing that? Are you pursuing that to impress others? Are you pursuing that because that's what you want to have? Because a lot of people get these big old houses and they're in there by themselves. Get these big old houses, no furniture in the house, right? Get these, big old cars. Is driving on excitement. You know what driving on excitement is, right? Driving on E, right? They got this nice old car. It's like, man, they driving on excitement, man. Woo woo! I hope I can get home, right? Because it's always on E because they don't have enough money to put in the gas tank, right? But on the outside, I see the car and say, whoa, look at that nice car. Look at that vehicle right there. Not knowing they driving on excitement and don't have $5 to put in the gas tank. I don't know that. I'm just fascinated by the car. But see, they know that. So how exciting is that way of living, knowing that you don't really have the stuff because you wanted it. You have the stuff because you're trying to impress people. Again, to each his own. I want you to understand that you are a success already. Once you know that you're a success already, then you will succeed more often than you are, and you'll realize you're in succeeding. See, a lot of people, because they're afraid of failure, maybe they failed at something once or twice. Because if you try to do anything, you're gonna hit this thing called failure, right? None of us know what to do all the time, right? When you do something, none of us pop out the womb knowing everything to do. Now I know you're a smart person, but I'm sure your mama didn't have no instructions in the womb to tell you how to live your whole life in the womb, right? When you get out the womb, this is what you do. You didn't know, right? So you have to actually go through these trials and errors, so to speak, in many different things, and then you may fail and you at things. But now when you look at failure differently, because see, failure is not a dead end. And this is what hurts a lot of us. We think it's a dead end because I failed. I didn't get my college degree, didn't get my high school degree, didn't finish the certification. I didn't, I got married and now I'm divorced, right? We think that that's a dead end. But failure is not a dead end. Failure is a detour. A detour does not say something is wrong with you. A detour does not say something is wrong with your car. A detour says something's wrong with the road that you're on, not you. A detour just said, this, now go this way and go back this other way, and then go this way, and you can get to the other side. You just can't get to the other side on this road because this road is not really built for you to ride on or drive on at this time. We're working on this road. This road flooded, or this road, something happened on this road. But we have a detour. Just follow the detour, and then you can get to the other side by following the detour that we have available. See, and once you understand stuff like that, oh, okay, failure is a detour, not a dead end. It's not the end of the world. It's just showing me another way to succeed or get to where I'm trying to go in my pursuit of something. Now, see, I needed to know that years ago. So I just realized when failure come into my life that I realized it's trying to show me another way to get to where I'm trying to get to or get to what I want. Let's use that detour example for an example. You're driving down the road, right? You're driving, then you said, man, big old sign say detour. Now, what would you think of a person in front of you that got out their car and said, forget it. Just stop the car, got out and started walking back the other way. And they said, man, I'm not trying to drive that car no more. You said, was something wrong with the car? No, car brand new. What you get out the car for? It's a detour. I can't go down this street anymore. And this is the only way I know to get over to the other side, right? You would tell that person, no, just follow the detour. You can still get to the other side. But see, the detour is there to show us another way. One of the benefits of having failure, a meeting with failure, is learning how to make adjustments. A lot of us don't know how to make adjustments in life. We know our one way to get from here to get to there. And as long as that one way is clear and open, I always go home this one way. I always go to work this one way. I always take this one route to the grocery store. Why? I know that way already. I wouldn't deliberately, and most of us wouldn't deliberately say, I'm going to try to find me another way. I'm going to try to find me two ways. No. We're going to go down that same street. We're going to get in our car from the house, drive down that same street to get to that grocery store, the same street. But if a detour showed up on that way and told us which way to go, many times if you're taking a detour, I know this has happened to me several times. I said, man, I didn't know this street was over here. Man, I didn't know this was over here. I didn't know. Oh, wow. When did they build this? Now, they built the thing 20 years ago. I never go down that road to know they built it 20 years ago. I didn't know this was over here in this area. But because of the detour, I end up seeing and knowing other ways to get to where I wanted to go and seeing other things that I didn't even know were there. That's what one of the benefits of failure. Failure will have you see other ways to succeed. See, your one way is not enough. Your two ways not enough, right?
You need more ways to succeed. And that's why making adjustments are so important. But see, some of us are so stubborn. We said, you know what, I'm driving through the detour. And then when you fall in a big old hole because the detour is there, then you think, man, why nobody told me? No, they had a big old sign saying detour. Go the other way. And that's what failure is trying to tell you. It doesn't mean that that road is closed forever. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that road is closed right now. And if you want to keep your car in good shape, don't try to drive down this road because this road will damage your car. Because we got a lot of things going on this road. Well, see, once you understand that, maybe going to a 4 year uh, uh, university, you said, man, I failed. I only went a year and a half, 2 years, and I went and I failed. I failed out the school. So you said, forget it. I'm forget it. No, 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 no. Maybe your detour is go to a community college close to home. Maybe your detour is go to a trade school somewhere else. Maybe your detour is go to another college that's close to your house so you can work a job. That may be your detour. But that does not mean that you are a failure because you had a detour come up. You didn't know that college existed. You didn't know it was 20 minutes from your house because you never went that way, right? You didn't know that job. Sometimes we have things come up in life and, that's out of our control. A lot of people get into business because they get laid off a job or get fired from a job. Now they find out, hey, man, I got to do something to earn some money. Now they never even thought about going into business. They never even thought about going over there to this place and learning about that information. Now, 10 years later, they've been in business for 10 years, made a decent living at it, right? Learned some stuff about themselves that they never thought was there, right? They learned some things. They didn't even know they had that skill set until they got pushed out or forced out a certain situation or life came with something they were trying to do and made them come up with another adjustment. You might be trying to get promoted on your job. And they keep knocking you down, right? And next thing you know, you go and make a different direction and you end up being in another department at the same company, which is more your fit. Now you know two ways, you know two things to do. You know how to do that job you had over there, and now you know how to do another job over here. Failure is not a dead end. Failure is a detour. Failure is one of the best ways to get more ways to succeed and become more successful. Most of us, if you ask the average person, how many ways can you become successful? They can't tell you but one way. Like most people, you ask them, how can you earn an income? They only know one way. They don't know how many ways they can earn an income, right? Because they haven't been challenged and they haven't met with failure. And the reason why they haven't met with failure, because they turned their back and ran the other way because they seen failure lit up and they said, I'm not going into that. I'm not going to try to do that. How about if I fall down and hit my head?
Well, same thing that happened with a child. I have two children. They were once babies, like your children, right? Once babies, right? Or you have children now. And when children are starting to walk and everything, one thing they do real good is fall down, right? They do that really, really well. I mean, they do it really good, right? And when they fall down, sometimes they fall down and they're not hurt, but they start crying, right? Because they're frustrated. They keep falling down. They take one step and fall down, take another step, fall. They get up, fall down again, right? This is what we do in life too. See, a lot of us are just crying and because we're frustrated. Man, you don't understand, man. I tried this thing 3 times. You don't understand, man. I tried. I went out and looked for a job, man. I asked 40 people, man, get a job, man. So now we crying. See, and there's nothing wrong with that because you're frustrated. And see, and if you don't understand how failure can benefit you, frustration will be your lifestyle. Now you're not trying anything. And if you do try something, you're gonna try shortcuts. If you do try to do something, you're gonna try something illegal. Why? Because you're frustrated because you didn't try this thing 8 times. You didn't try this thing 10 times. Man, I done been in 12 relationships, man, and haven't worked out. It's trying to show you another way. But you still trying to do the same thing the same way on the same road. You have to mess up the bottom of the car, right? And so now you have to keep falling down. You have to keep crying about it. Why? Because you keep falling down because you're doing the same thing over and over again. Not that it's wrong, just at this time it's not working. It may work next week, may work next month, may work next year, may work in 5 years. But you have to come up with another way and you have to kind of let failure direct you to the other way so you can have more weapons, so to speak, in your arsenal to succeed. Well, that's what happened to me. I started, frustrated why this is not working out, why this is not working, and I felt like a real failure. But one thing I had to learn, and I try to share with other people, I used to sell real estate, for instance, for a long time. That was one of my major professions for a while. And one thing I realized when I sold real estate, sometimes you're going through, I couldn't say this when I sold real estate, but y'all can say it now because I don't sell it. Right. But one time I was good, you go through a bad neighborhood, right? Well, not so good neighborhood. How about that? Right. But on the border of every bad neighborhood is a good neighborhood. Sorry. So on every bad neighborhood is a good neighborhood, right? Well, see, failure and success again. When you're going through failure, you have to just keep moving because success is on the border of the failure. Failure can only go so long before success show up, but it won't. Success don't come to you. Success is in the pursuit. You have to go to it by dealing with failure first. And when you deal with failure, there goes success. There go the icing on the cake. There go the gravy on the potatoes, right? Because that's the success that you want. Well, once you understand that and realize that, okay, failure is part of this scenario. I'm gonna go and try this thing. I'm gonna try and write a book. May fail at some stuff, but it's gonna help me make some adjustments because I need to make some adjustments, right? Failure got to introduce me to success so that I can actually succeed in what I'm trying to do, right? I want to actually open up a business. I don't know anything about business, but I want to be my own business person. Well, yeah, I'm gonna fail at some things and everything, but it's gonna show me another way because I might go in business in one business, right? And say I'm going in that business and find out that's not even the business I really want to be in. Because then I find out the business I really want to be in, which is over there. But if I never start moving forward and failed at this business, I probably wouldn't have seen that other business that's connected to this business that would be more beneficial for me, right? But since I don't understand those type of things, and when I didn't, again, I was the guy that said, "Hey man, failure is terrible, failure is bad." But here's a story to kind of help you with some things. I stopped taking failure as something like quote unquote personal, right? Because the word fail is a verb, and verbs are actions. And I said verb, verb, it's an action. Failure, the word fail is a verb. So that means that, wait a minute, you not a failure. Your actions may have failed, but you not a failure. You have to get good at separating yourself from the action. The action may have failed, but that does not mean you are a failure. Here's what I mean. I'm gonna give you a little story because I like to tell stories. I guess I ain't got. I need to find something to do in my life, right? So I'm gonna tell a story. So it's this father. He took his children to the zoo. Son and daughter to the zoo. So little kids. They took them to the zoo, and then when they're at the zoo, the father seen one of a guy he went to high school with, right? He said, hey, what's up, man? Hey, how you doing? So the guy said, oh, it's you. Because they haven't seen each other in like about 15 years, right? Since high school. So, the guy come to the gate, because he cleaned up after the animals. You see, he cleaned up after them. Now, you heard what I said, clean up after the animals. I didn't say he cleaned the animals, right? He cleans up after them. After they do stuff, he got to clean it up. So as he comes closer to the gate, and they start reminiscing, man, how your mom there? How your family? How everybody doing? Man, that's good. That's good. What you been up to? And the guy said, man, you stink. And the guy that cleaned up after the animals, man, he started laughing, man, like, ah. So the two little kids, they saying to each other like, man, the guy laughing. Daddy just said the guy stinks. I mean, why is he laughing like that? So the guy, after he got done laughing and everything, he said, man, listen, I don't stink. Just what I stepped in stink. See, he knew once he got out of those boots and all that overalls and everything and got out of that stuff and showered up, he knew he wasn't the boo boo. He knew that just made him smell bad because he stepped in it. See, a lot of us step in failure. We step in a divorce. We step in a bad relationship. We step in a bad financial situation. So now from this day forward, we say, I'm a failure. No, 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 no. Your actions may have failed, but you're not a failure. What you stepped in may stink, but you're not the stink. So you have to understand that those two are separate entities. And a lot of us don't get to that point that knowing that, wait a minute, my actions fail. See, actions can be corrected. See, but when you start calling you your actions, then you're gonna start saying that I must be the failure because I had these 3, 4, 5 actions that failed. Because you can correct some actions. That's something you can correct that. You can clean, like the guy at the zoo, he can clean stuff off of him. He can get soap and water and clean up and smell fresh, just like like the guy that people that's visiting the zoo. Same thing that goes along with you in life. You can clean up actions.
But if you don't think you can clean up actions, you would think your bad actions or your failure actions are you. And they're not you at all. They never have been you. They never will be you. But if you don't know that, you would think they nothing but you. You aren't your actions. Your actions and you are separate entities. So this is something that you have to understand in overcoming failure. I'm not my failed action, but I can use those failed actions to make me some adjustments to have me some better actions, right? Some better doings, so to speak. Well, if you don't understand that, how are you going to be successful? Why would you try to go in business? Why would you try to get in a relationship? Why would you try to leave the job and start something new? Why would you try to get promoted? Because if I try to get promoted, I'm going to fail. So you have to get the word failure and look at it differently and not look at it like being graded in school, right? Again, nothing wrong with being graded in school because that has its place for what it's doing in school. But that's not how you do it in life. Failure is just part of the scenario to help you make some different adjustments in life. But you must realize if you don't look at failure differently, you won't try very many things. You won't even try to love your family because of the fact that you think you're gonna fail. You won't try to help your family because you think you're gonna fail. You won't try to even receive help from your family or friends because you think you're going to fail. You won't make amends with people because you think you're going to fail. See, because failure is so negative, but not realizing it's part of me succeeding. I need to have failure so I can get the success I want because I need to keep pursuing. See, a lot of people stop pursuing at 20 years old, 25 years old. They have a few failures and now they're just going to sit on their life for the rest of their life. They're going to sit on their life for the next 25, 35, 45 years. If you talk to them, they're 65 years old, you say, hey, what have you done in the last 40 years? And then they tell you nothing. Well, what have you tried in the last 40 years? They tell you nothing. What would you have tried in the last 40 years? They tell you nothing. You know why? Because they are afraid of failure because of the connotation that they have about failure and what it means to them. They don't want to try nothing. Said, man, you've been this. Why you never married the person? Why you never married him or her? Right? Why you never got a house or got another house? Why you never sold the house? Why you never got promoted on the job? Why didn't you ever do any of these things? And the person would tell you, well, they come up with some excuse. Well, I don't want all that responsibility. How about if they wouldn't hire me, or how about if they wouldn't let me get the house? When I used to sell real estate, people would go through a financial situation, right? And because they went through a bad financial situation, they wouldn't get nothing else on credit, right? They wouldn't buy, they wouldn't do nothing, right? Because they said, man, at one time I did so much messed up. So then say, listen, you want to buy a house? I don't know if I can buy a house. I can't figure out if I can buy a house. So listen, let's check your credit out and see what you can do. These people had good credit because they have actually done nothing bad in the last 5, 6 years, right? But they were letting things that happened 5, 10, 15 years ago keep them from buying something today. Why? Because of the failure experience that they experienced, they were using those actions and saying those actions should keep me from getting something that I want. Well, that's what a lot of us do because we had some bad actions, and most of the times it's because we were just ignorant, right? We don't want to admit that we were ignorant, but the truth of the matter is we're just ignorant people doing some ignorant stuff, and that's why we're in some failure that we don't want to be in. So you must understand these things. First off, you must realize failure comes first, right? Success comes second. You know what I'm saying? So you must realize those two things happen. You must realize success is the icing on the cake. The failure is the actual cake. See, the failure is how the success is built. Failure is like the limo driver. And when you see a limo driver driving around, chances are there's somebody in the back seat that's going to get out, right? And a limo driver, when they driving people around, we just say it's a special event, and they're driving somebody to the special event, and you always have this red carpet, right? It's a red carpet event, right? And only the important people walk on the red carpet. The rest of us got to be spectators and take pictures, right? Ooh, there's so and so, there's so and so. But when the limo drive up, you don't get up, start running from the limo. You can't wait to see who's gonna come out. So let me just put it to you this way. Failure is the red carpet that you must walk on to get the success that you want. See, and then once you understand that I'm not afraid of failure anymore. Yeah, okay, I may do this thing and things may happen, but I need some red carpet because I'm one of the special people at this event that's about to happen. Because failure gonna make sure it only meets successful people. If failure come into your life, it is telling you that you are a success. But see, it's hard for us to believe that. Man, you don't understand, man. I've been married 4 times, right? I get married every other year. Right? Yeah, yeah. Man, I can't get married again. I can't go out with nobody. I've been married 4 times. This is my 10th girlfriend. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But I'm not trying to get with nobody. I had 3 boyfriends my whole life, and they just tore me up, and I just failed at all 3. No, 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 no. You learn a place so you can make adjustments from all 3. That was a place you make an adjustment for all 10. That's your third job you went to, and the 15th job you went to, and they all said no. 25 jobs in a row told me no, man. I went out there for 25 jobs. They all told me no. No, but you still not a failure just because they told you no. Or you have to just do some adjusting because maybe that's not where you're supposed to work. Maybe those are not the people you're supposed to work with, right? Well, see, we want to see that. And I'm not trying to hype you up. I'm not trying to fool you. I'm not just trying to have you go on some positive thing and just think that this stuff don't happen because failure happens. And once you understand that it happens, it's just part of the success thing. Why? Because failure and success go together like wet and water. You can't get the wet from the water. I mean, you can't get water without getting wet. You got to get the wet that come along with the water. You got to go ahead and get the failure that come along with the success. You can succeed. So let's go back. What are you pursuing? You got to find out what is it that you want to pursue. And you got to find out what you want to pursue for yourself, not for someone else. Why are you pursuing what you're pursuing? And then are you pursuing it for me or are you pursuing it for you? Hopefully you're pursuing it for you. Stop running from failure because running from failure have you running from success. All of your success is being made. All of your success is being created. All of your success is being built because in the failure. And if you once you get that, once you understand that, wait a minute, how am I going to live my life and be successful and build a successful life without the tools of failure to help me do it? Failure are tools. I share with people when I write books. Man, I made a bunch of mistakes in writing books, man, doing a bunch of things wrong, right? I got better at it by steady doing it. Okay, at this time when I started doing stuff like that, hey, you know what? It's just a failure experience. I'm not the action. I can correct the action. I mean, I get better every time I do this show, right? I didn't start off doing the show, as well as I'm doing it today. Not that I'm doing it better than anybody else, but I'm doing it better than how I started, right? You give me some more time, I'm gonna do it better than where I am today. Why? Because I know I can make adjustments. And even though I may have a problem, like last week, I did a show and the book was upside down. I didn't know the book was upside down to the 13th minute of the show, right? Couldn't erase it. Oh no, right? Why didn't I see it? That won't happen again. You see what I'm saying? It happened that time. It showed me how to make adjustments. I told myself today, make sure you look at that book now. Both of those books, make sure they right side up. So you have to go through those experiences so that you can understand that, hey, it happened, but it won't happen again because I'm gonna correct that action. That action happened that time, but I'm gonna make sure that action don't happen again because that failure experience made me pay more attention to when I set this book up in front of you on my show, right? I had to make sure I look at it before the countdown happened. There it is. It's there, right? So same thing happened in life. You bake a cake, you burn the cake up, you find out you left the cake in there too long. Next time you make the cake, you know I'm gonna take it out 10 minutes early, right? You have to burn up some stuff, right, to be a good cook, right? Everybody don't come out being good chefs. Everybody don't come out doing hair real well. Everybody don't come out putting makeup on people real well. Everybody don't come out dressing real well. All that stuff don't happen just because you do it one time. That stuff happened because you failed at it. And you ask anyone that you run in contact with and you bump into that you think that does something really well and say, hey, tell me what happened. Did you start this way? Again, arrogant people will tell you they popped out the womb doing hair that good, but that's not true. They'll tell you about the hair they messed up, how they burnt up Miss Jones' hair, right? They'll tell you a whole lot of stuff, right? They try to put the weave in crooked, fell out the next day. They'll tell you all the things, the places where they messed up. It doesn't mean that they are messed up. It means that they had to go through some failure to get that good at doing hair. They had to go through failure to get that good at painting houses. They had to go through failure to get that good at putting roofs on and all the other things that go on in life. And the same thing is going to happen with you. But you can't run away from failure because failure is success. Failure makes success. Once you understand that, then you can become more successful. So let me go ahead and promote this guy one more time. I hope y'all didn't run away from him. Because we talked about failure. Because, boy, you want to put somebody on the run. Start talking about failure, boy. They ready to fight. But anyway, let me promote this guy here one more time before we close. So Mr. Emmy Farmer,
Are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and an independent insurance broker. He can be reached at 773-908-9425 or efarmer, the number two, efarmer2 at ameritech.net. Mr. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can help you as well. He is licensed in the state of Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in other states across the country. If you are 65 and older, or if you will become 65 within the next 6 to 12 months, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about your available options. Again, for more information, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer at 773-908-9425. That's 773-908-9425. Or efarmer2, efarmer, the number two, efarmer2 at ameritech.net. You also get a free consultation by mentioning that you have heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer and his business here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station. Here on the A Greater Youth Show, the host, Dr. Anthony L. Gant. So let's do a quick recap. Then you need to realize that failure and success, failure go with success like weight go with water. Right? I've said that several times. You're gonna hear me say it several more times. Failure is the cake, success is the icing. So failure is how you build the cake. You must understand that failure, the word failure, in one derivation of the Latin word, means the same word we get called deceive. So don't let failure fool you, deceive you out of the success you want. Keep in mind also success, suck means SUC means after, and C means to go. So success is in the pursuit of something. What are you going after? It's not the thing itself, it's in the pursuit of the things that you're going after. The pursuit of the things you're going after in your relationship, the pursuit of the things you're going out after in your career, your health, any of those things. When you pursue it, you are succeeding in the present moment. And the more you keep pursuing it, the better you're going to get at actually succeeding. Also, success is a way to help you make adjustments. Your job is to look at that success is not a dead end. Success is a detour. And a detour does not say something's wrong with you. A detour just says something's wrong on the road that you're on ahead of you. But there is another way to get to where you want to go. So, with all that said and done, keep in mind great people like yourself have been born great. However, you must work on yourself to become a greater you. And I'll see you next time.